Oh man, this one looks like it's gonna be rough for Edgar. Welcome back, Wolfpack Brothers, here to the first Fan Fridays for this week. And it's going to be a double battle with some pretty crazy stuff. Now, I've been hearing a lot of things about Porygon 2 coming into the meta. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he made it in time for Worlds, and it was still pretty boring. But right now, Porygon 2 is showing like it counters out Salamence really well, destroys Landers, has a lot of different options for a lot of really strong Pokemon in the metagame. So it has been putting in some work, but the opponent's got the Landorus, got the Thundurus, and download's not really going to affect Porygon 2 right now. So Ursaring going to go for that Protect, and we are just going to see how safe this turn goes. So Milotic's going for Protect as well, and I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Just keep it safe for this turn. You have Thundurus go for some kind of setup. That's going to be the Thunder Wave right there onto Porygon 2. Porygon 2 might be able to trade like something, and it does get paralyzed, however. I'll say the Ice Beam would have been pretty nice to see, or at least getting some kind of status down. So that is going to be Taunt. I mean, the Prankster Taunt, just so much right there, and Ursaring with the Facade going to go onto the Milotic, and what? Oh man, well now we can see why the opponent is testing out that Ursaring. Looks like it's actually pretty legit with that Thundurus support right there. I mean, normally you see like Mega Kangaskhan or something, but that's still one-shotting the Facade, and that's just absurd. So the Thunder Wave this time going to be onto the Hydreigon, going to try to slow down after all this craziness goes on, and gets the Dark Pulse. So Scarf going to outspeed Dark Pulse, going to not one-shot, and the Facade going to be pretty absurd. So I mean, the Ursaring sweep is real right now. And that's Porygon 2 with the Ice Beam on to the Thundurus, going to take it out. So now we actually might see a couple of the reasons why people are running the Porygon 2. So I mean, if it survives Ursaring, and then we just see like a lot of really crazy trades right here, might get pretty real. So that's the Landorus. I mean, yeah, you're going to see that Porygon 2 hit the Landorus. Aerodactyl might go for the craziness right here, but the Intimidate is going to reduce a bit of its power. But that's the thing, like Porygon 2, he doesn't care about the Intimidate. Really only has to worry about Snarl, and yes, it's the Mega Aerodactyl. I love seeing the Mega Aerodactyl. A lot of power. Like the Tough Claws is a free life orb with a very high amount of attack and speed. Is going to switch out on that U-turn, so playing a little bit of that trickery. Gets crit just for good measure and switches out. So now we get to see where the rest of this goes. That's going to be the Hydreigon for the opponent. And, well, I mean, it doesn't really change your options too much either. Like, even with that U-turn, so you're getting Ice Beam now on your Hydreigon, which is going to go down. So the Rock Slide is going to be pretty solid, but wow, that actually tanks it out a little more than I thought it would. And Ursaring going to take that burn. So the Taunt is going to wear off. Aerodactyl's throwing out another Rock Slide. I mean, such a fast Rock Slide. You can land those flinches right there. You can distribute a lot of damage. Ursaring does go down. And now we're going to see what happens here. So Dragon Pulse is going to be what Hydreigon's throwing out onto the Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl's a pretty frail Pokemon. Life Orb Dragon Pulse not going to be enough to knock it out, however. And Porygon doesn't really do much after that. So that's going to be, oh, so actually it had to have been a Guts Ursaring, because I think it gets Quick Feet or Guts, but the Guts just shows how much power was coming through that Facade, which is why Aerodactyl was able to finally get that outspeed. Ice Fang, Ice Beam, there's nothing that the Landorus is going to do against this. So there's the Rock Slide, that's going to be damage onto the Aerodactyl, but that's not going to be enough to take out the the Porygon right there, and then Porygon just going to get the Ice Beam. Even with multiple turns of hacks, you know, flinches and paralysis, it'll be able to eventually win this one out. So that's going to be the game right there, and it's just an interesting battle. Like the comeback after that Ursaring was pretty real, but I mean, we didn't really get to see much of anything from the Milotic or the Hydreigon, but then Aerodactyl shows that, you know, Aerodactyl and Porygon 2. Pretty strong is what it looks like right now. You just throw out that Rock Slide and go for a little bit extra. So Porygon 2 is starting to come into its own right now, and that's pretty cool for doubles. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. More Fan Fridays coming up in a bit.